What's going on, fellow A-plussers? It is I, your host, as always, Adam Perez, back once again with a brand new episode review as we're set to get into the series finale of Gotham Knights. That's right, you heard me correctly. Series finale, not season finale, series finale of Gotham Knights that went ahead and aired on the CW as of yesterday evening. We are here to go ahead and talk about this show finally wrapping itself up. What we got, like 13 episodes out of this particular season so far. Unfortunately, if you guys have been following us over the past week, Gotham Knights is officially canceled after this particular season, as the CW has decided to go ahead and renew Superman and Lois for another season, but unfortunately not Gotham Knights. Now look, going into this particular season, I expected this to be just sort of a one-off, just based off of not what I thought the quality of the show would be, but just more or less the direction that I felt CW was certainly going. Granted, none of the trailers for Gotham Knights really got me hyped or excited, especially thinking to myself, this is only going to be a one-off season. But honestly, when this show began and they challenged me, Adam, if you are that down on Gotham Knights, we dare you to certainly review it. I started watching this show, and honestly, guys, I really enjoyed it. I really continued to fall in love with this show week in and week out. It definitely continued to get better each and every single week, and really continued just to show how strong of a story it certainly had. Some really great characters and emotional moments, and honestly, a lot of twists and turns that definitely had us coming back for more each week, with plenty to certainly talk about. So for a season that's only going to be getting one season, I got to admit, I think this show did a really great job of kind of really coming full circle with its story. The premise of it was the idea of these Gotham Knights trying to certainly clear their name. And by the end of the season, that's exactly what we wind up getting. So the writing team here, it definitely felt very much like they wanted to leave it to just a one season story with maybe a little bit of an open ending, in case they wanted to go ahead and get themselves a season two. But I think the way that this particular show ended here, as of yesterday, I thought it really came full circle in a very complete and enjoyable and satisfying ending. And I'm like, man, I'm a little bit bummed that we're not going to go ahead and get ourselves a second season, because I really do want to know where it leads, not just for our characters, but even like Turner himself, with him now being under the tutelage of Henri Ducard, who also, taught Bruce Wayne back in his day, especially also Turner's parents, as it is in fact revealed in this episode too. Along with Harvey Dent. I think Harvey Dent, now that we're getting the opportunity to sort of see Two-Face at the end of this, it's like, man, I really would love to see what Two-Face would certainly be up to, getting ourselves a second season. But I am glad that they pulled the trigger on at least revealing a Two-Face design in here. So again, a plenty to certainly look forward to if there was going to be a season two. But the way that they certainly wrapped up this particular series, I thought they did a really, really incredible job here for this show. Again, these are just simply my A-plus opinions. At the end of the day, though, I always want to know your guys' thoughts. So if you have checked out Gotham Knights sort of in its entirety, I definitely want to know what you guys thought about this particular episode and just this season in general. Let's go ahead and really dive into this episode a little bit here with really just my overall thoughts. A couple things I really want to talk about when it comes to this ending. If anything, let me get the bad out of the way, because I did feel like there was certainly plenty good to definitely dive into. For me, the only aspect of this episode, while choreography wise or like the way that they planned it out looked great, and I'm talking about the attack on the GCPD. Cool sequence overall, but for me, just a little unbelievable. The concept and the idea of sort of like four talons that, yes, while they have just recently sort of been resurrected, I got to assume that if you were a talon, you were extremely dangerous at one point in time in your life, that you might have been an assassin that was highly trained to go ahead and kill people. And so the fact that we now have all of our characters now utilizing, which mind you, they at least used comic book accurate weapons. I think Stephanie had the baton, if I'm not mistaken, the staff. Songbird, aka Harper, I think she had like her blaster also. I don't know if Cullen in the comic books if he used like the stun batons or whatever the case may be. But even so, like even with the upgrades and weapons, there were definitely some moments in here that were just maybe a little bit too unbelievable for me. Like if there were anybody in here that I probably believe stood a chance in fighting these Talons, definitely Robin. Robin certainly felt like she was doing her part to try and hold them up. You know, Harper with the gun certainly gives her a little bit of an advantage for sure. I just didn't believe Stephanie. I didn't really believe Brody so much in regards to how they handle themselves. Maybe Cullen a little bit just because he's got the advantage of like an actual stun weapon. So he probably doesn't need to do too much, but there was just some aspects of it that was just way too believable. I haven't even really seen any of these people train outside of Turner to make me believe that they can go ahead and take down the Talons. So outside of that, that's really where I think it kind of jumps to shark a little bit for me in regards to things that I didn't really care for in this episode. And then really just I don't even want to say the lack of dying, because I think this show has done a marvelous job of killing some people off in some really brutal and gruesome ways. But you know, the idea of taking full-on sword stabs to the back have allowed several people in this series to actually survive. Lincoln March took one in his back from the Talon. He somehow survives. And then we also wind up getting Carrie Kelly's mom in here, who winds up getting stabbed in the back. And she winds up pulling through also. So, you know, look, I am kind of curious as to why they didn't pull the trigger in regards to the death of somebody close to the Gotham Knights. I honestly do think it would have been a really great sort of character arc for somebody like Carrie Kelly to kind of experience something like that. But I still think that she managed to get a great character arc in this series finale that I think really did wonders for her character, despite her mom certainly surviving. So look, I'm not trying to say I wish her mom died, but you know, every once in a while it's like, how many people are actually going to survive a sword stab to the back sort of thing? You know what I mean? So outside of that, though, I was a really big fan of this particular episode. I thought they did some really great things. You know, Duela for me really kind of stood out in here. You know, her working opposite of Misha Collins as Harvey Dent, I thought was really great. I mean, you know, they already kind of teased the idea of them being together in the past couple episodes, really driving home the idea that Harvey Dent is in fact Duela's father. So the fact that they actually get to be in the same room together, I thought it was just really touching from Harvey Dent's point of view in regards to really committing himself to Duela, to being the father that she certainly always wanted and always needed in her life. And the fact that he says all of that stuff and you see the emotional reaction to Duela, it feels like when I look at Duela, there's two things going in her mind. One, this is something that I've always wanted, and I'm so glad that I have myself a father figure now. And two, can I even trust this dude? Because everybody in my life has certainly just backstabbed me and done something completely opposite of what they said that they were certainly going to do. So, you know, I almost find that tear of hers when she's talking, not just a tear of like happiness that somebody's accepting her, but also a sadness and a conflict that she's dealing with, because I'm sure she's heard this shit before, you know what I mean? And so like for me, when somebody like Dent says all that stuff, but then immediately changes his mind, like, I'm glad Duela calls him out on it. Like, bro, you literally just said you were gonna be here for me, give me the life that I've always had, and now you're gonna leave me, sort of thing. Like the mentality of Harvey to go, you know, I'm leaving it up to you to save me. No, bro, no, I'm leaving it up to you to save me out of this situation. And even me as a viewer looking at the situation they found themselves in, like, when Harvey says, oh, he's pretty clever though, he can get us out of this situation, I'm like, no, he can get himself out of this situation. But if you think he's gonna even help Duela, he's got no reason to even want to help Duela in any way whatsoever besides just save his own ass. So I knew it was a mistake from the get-go. Duela clearly thought it was a mistake, but the fact that Harvey still did it anyway, I was just like, I don't want to say what a terrible character moment it is for Harvey, but I also think it just shows, I guess it does show sort of a true character of who Harvey Dent is when he's not his variant or his alternate, you know, his opposite persona, if you will. Somebody that maybe makes big promises but ain't there to certainly deliver on them, unfortunately. But I got to tell you, man, I just thought the the sequences between Harvey Dent and Duela in here were fantastic, because I think they worked extremely well for both characters. One for Harvey Dent because Misha Collins, for the most part, is an incredible actor, and just his performance alone of having to not only be Harvey Dent but then be Two-Face, and just him sort of coming alive, if you will, right? Like he closes his eyes, he summons his opposite self, and then when he opens his eyes, it's just a completely different aura, completely different vibe, facial expressions. You know, Misha Collins really sunk his teeth into this particular role of Harvey Dent, and it's just a little bit of a shame that we're not going to be able to get him the opportunity to kind of see what else he can do as Two-Face in a season 2. But I absolutely love the transition from Harvey to Two-Face in here. And honestly, look, I will say this, if there is another con that I have, I am kind of very much on the fence about the makeup work for the Two-Face design. When I see like behind the scenes photos and videos of it, as the Gotham Knights showrunners and things like that show, you know, the makeup and what Misha Collins looked like behind the scenes, that looks really great to me. Like, so I don't know what it is about seeing it on screen televised. It almost felt like the lighting itself in that particular room didn't really do it justice. He looked more like a burn victim, which I can understand the idea of them going with that design, but I guess there's a part of me that's so used to seeing like the purple, you know, purple complexion a little bit, maybe a little bit of like the gray hair sort of thing. This was more visceral and just grotesque in regards to like a massive burn victim sort of thing. Still chilling at times, don't get me wrong. So like I feel very middling in the pack in regards to what Two-Face looked like here. Look, it is a CW show, and I think people will be like, yep, that's CW production effects for you sort of thing in design. But I do think I don't want to say I think they could have done better, because I do think I understand what they were certainly going for, but I just feel like in behind the scenes concepts and videos that I've seen, I feel like it looks better than what it certainly did coming across on screen. So I'm just kind of right in the middle of the road of it, but I do appreciate them at least taking the initiative to at least give that to us. Like I appreciate them giving that to us. Even though I wanted to see like our Gotham Knights actually achieve and acquire some costumes by the end of this show, I was thinking to myself like, man, maybe if we got like 2 more episodes, maybe the team and Robin would have helped them put together their costumes and we could have seen them fight their final battle together sort of thing. So while we definitely didn't get that, so that's a little bit of a bummer, I do appreciate them at least giving us this Two-Face reveal as a series finale, because I would have been bummed if I didn't get the opportunity to see Misha Collins as Two-Face. So I did think it worked wonders for Misha Collins as Harvey Dent in this episode. And then again, just the Duela character, like for me, I think she's had such a great arc overall, seeing her lack of caring for people or caring for Gotham sort of thing, and just how far the idea of people trusting in her has sort of taken her character, right? You know, it was cool for me in this episode to see the Gotham Knights, or at least some people in the Gotham Knights, not trust Duela to certainly do the right thing, but then seeing the complete opposite of that in the next sequence of even Duela saying, "What you think? You know, I'm gonna kill thousands of people just to save one person and myself," sort of thing, right? So she clearly challenges what the Gotham Knights certainly think about her, and I think that's a really great full circle moment for her character in here. And then when she says things at the end of the season like, look, you know, Turner believed in the people of Gotham along with just the city itself. So, you know, despite how she certainly might feel about people, her taking sort of that same mentality to go ahead and want to further protect the city, I think just goes to show you the growth of where she's come from the beginning of this show to the end. So really love the full circle for somebody like Duela, and really giving her some great moments in this particular week's episode. And I even love seeing her talk to Harvey the way that she did, talking about how Rebecca is just gonna up and leave him in like a decade or 50 years, right? That's the trouble when you're mortal and you're dating an immortal. They're eventually gonna get tired, or you're eventually gonna die, and they're eventually gonna go on and find something else to continue their life with, sort of thing. So I thought Duela really shined in this episode. Let's talk a little bit about Turner also. because Turner has a big moment in here where he finally learns the truth about his parents. He's been waiting quite some time to finally get the truth and figure out what's been going on. He's been told stories. He's been reading some of the journals about his father being the one, Bruce Wayne being the one to actually kill his parents. Whereas in this particular episode, we come to find out from the same detective that was over his parents' murders case, now on Turner's case in here, and kind of revealing the truth that she also knew Batman, but that unfortunately his parents were in fact assassins. They were in fact sent by Henri Ducard to go ahead and kill the Batman, and unfortunately they ended up getting themselves killed. So I'm assuming, you got to assume Batman probably killed them certainly in self-defense, and he certainly did his part to realize, man, I've orphaned an 8-year-old child. Let me do the right thing by certainly bringing him in, and he definitely does that. Bruce clearly seeing the mirroring of his parents being taken away, and him doing the right thing to make sure that somebody's there to certainly take care of Turner. So I'm finally glad that he actually learned the truth a little bit more, and the fact that he's now kind of, I don't want to say taking it into his own hands, because he was kidnapped at the end of this. It is kind of cool to see that he might go on to become a vigilante of his own if Henri Ducard certainly trains him the correct way. And now having also the rest of Bruce Wayne's journals and stuff, I think Turner would definitely go on to learn aplenty, and certainly become a little bit of a hero himself. So I'm glad that they gave Turner sort of the closed ending. For a second there, I thought that they were literally going to kill him off when everybody else ran out of the lobby of Wayne Manor, but he was certainly still stuck there. So I honestly thought that they were going to kill Turner off. So I'm glad that they didn't, but just a little bit of a bummer that the rest of his friends certainly think that they did, that certainly think that he passed away in here. But I'm glad to see that the Gotham Knights are certainly still sticking around. And I also got to give the show props for just visually, just great effects in regards to the destruction of Wayne Manor. I thought seeing the implosion and the tower coming down, I honestly thought it looked pretty good, honestly. So yeah, man, I really enjoyed that aspect of this particular week's episode. I also really appreciated the fact that they sort of got the elephant out of the room, right? What's going on with Harper and Stephanie? I mean, look, we've been seeing the steaminess between these two characters over like the past 2 episodes or so, and it definitely feels as though the rest of the team is certainly picking up on that. So I am glad that they actually acknowledged it, right? I mean, look, we've seen these two kissing. We definitely have seen them both express their feelings for each other, but to sort of make it official in this episode for me just feels very much like, thank you for at least acknowledging the fact that we have ourselves a lesbian couple on this show, and just seeing not only how accepting those two are, but also seeing Cullen and Turner sort of just like very nonchalantly accepting it, right? Like, look, man, we're in 2023 right now. This is like normal sort of thing. Like we really shouldn't be afraid to talk about this type of stuff. So I'm glad that they got the elephant out of the room and we got ourselves an official couple between Stephanie and Harper, because man, I gotta tell you, that chemistry has been fire. I definitely would not mind seeing the two of them a little bit more. But great character working here, man. Again, Turner, Harvey, Duela all had some great moments. And listen, I do want to talk briefly about Carrie Kelly before I get into some honorable mentions in here. But this was a big moment for me with Carrie Kelly. I was actually surprised that her mom wind up getting stabbed. I think I was live tweeting just a little bit as of last night for Gotham Knights, and when I saw that moment, I just said, oh shit, like that sucks. I really felt very heartfelt in that moment for Carrie Kelly and her having to see her mom go through something like that, right? It feels very, I don't want to say heroic, but I mean it in the sense of like, this is like a hero's journey, unfortunately. Maybe like I was thinking to myself, like, is this her Uncle Ben sort of moment that we're gonna get for her, right? With great power comes great responsibility, Carrie, type of moment. But it certainly wasn't that per se. But it is cool to see that while her mom certainly survives this, the idea of her mom kind of coming full circle, like for me, when I was watching the sequence in the police department and they're fighting and her mom is watching, I'm thinking to herself, man, her mom has got to be like so proud of her, right? Like this is Carrie Kelly's moment to show her mom what she's capable of doing. And unfortunately, her mom winds up getting stabbed in here. So the fact that her mom took witness of everything and is now giving Carrie Kelly sort of that encouragement that she needs to go out there and be Robin. Like the line, Gotham needs its Robin. Like I watched this episode twice, and both moments it gave me chills because that's the moment that she needs as this character in Robin, and understanding that it's okay to be who you are. Your mom is completely accepting of this. Take this mantle, own it. And save this city sort of mentality. And so I honestly thought we were going to get ourselves like a Robin hallway scene, like Daredevil, and she's just going to kick the ass out of everybody sort of thing. We didn't necessarily get that, but it was certainly a great moment for the Robin character in here, and to kind of see things kind of come full circle for her. So I'm glad that we do have an accepting mom here, and Carrie Kelly's mom, and seeing just exactly what it did for her. So great character moment, I thought, in this episode. And then last honorable mention, I think for me, the one that really stands out is probably Cullen. Out of all the characters, he was the one I was on the fence about and didn't quite know how to feel about him. But I feel like maybe halfway through this season, he really sort of gets his feet under him and really starts establishing himself in very much a leadership role, being a very good voice of reason, with all his detective work, or undercover work, I should say, at the GCPD. Like for me, it was really cool to kind of see him and the officer finally kind of on the same page. You know what I mean? Him saving the same officer. Like I'm trying to even think, if I'm watching this episode twice, I'm trying to remember if there was a moment when Cullen explained to him like, hey, I was the dude with the mustache. I've been fooling you for like the past month or two. Like I can't remember if I don't know if the officer made necessarily that connection. But the fact that Cullen was part of the Gotham Knights, who was, a wanted fugitive sort of thing, saving the life of this man that he's been bringing coffees to and connecting with and things like that. I just thought the hug at the end was super heartfelt. And I think it also establishes just a different mindset that maybe somebody like Cullen or even Harper has towards, the police departments and the policemen. And regardless of the hard life that they grew up in, right? The ability to look at each other as humans and connect and appreciate each other, I thought certainly went a long way based off of just the life experiences that Cullen and Harper have really been a part of. So I thought Cullen as a character, I thought they did a really great job of establishing him with his own arc here, and so that was pretty cool. A little bit of a bummer that we didn't get enough Stephanie and Harper in here, if you ask me, but personally I think everybody for the most part the writers did a incredible job of really paying attention to everybody and giving everybody the shine that they certainly deserve. I don't feel like anybody got left behind or got more attention than the other, with the exception of Brody. But I think Brody's already like the weakest character and the weakest actor in this particular group. And he's very much sort of a supporting character. But for me, I think everybody really got the shine that they certainly deserve, and a really great ending, if you ask me. So I couldn't ask for better. But again, just a little bit bummed that this show is certainly coming to an end. But overall, man, enjoyable series. Really enjoyable series finale. Will be sad to see this show go. I have no expectations for a season 2. I have no expectations of anybody else certainly picking up this show. I do think this is going to be the last time that we see this cast and crew together, but it should be interesting to see where the rest of the writing team, the directors and stuff for this particular series move on to next. Yeah, regardless, I thought they did a really great job of keeping me in tune to each and every week. Great twists and turns, some really solid character work in here, and some great emotional moments with an amazing cast. But overall, guys, again, these are simply my just A+ opinions. I want to know yours. What did you guys think of the series finale for Gotham Knights? What did you think of the series as a whole? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section box below, guys, and we'll definitely continue to have this conversation throughout the rest of the week. But outside of that, we probably have more content for you guys this week. Secret Invasion reviews, Superman and Lois is officially wrapping up its third season. We got some upcoming shows for you guys here on our YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and definitely join us here. But until then, until next time, do me a big favor. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.